Well, hello everyone. I'm back with my friend Sarah. She and I did a live about 4 months ago.
Yeah.
It was right after you were raped,
Mm-hmm.
and you were very real and vulnerable with us, and very raw, and it was beautiful and amazing and very powerful.
Thank you.
And so she's back in town, and so I wanted to do a part two because I would love if you would share a little bit of your process in the past 4 months.
Absolutely. It's definitely been the most challenging and difficult experiences I've had. I've really had to step into my power and be very conscious of the energy that I'm putting out in my surroundings. After that happened, I went through the process and I did the rape kit. I filed, and I got to the point where I talked to a DA, and it turned out that you basically needed to have, they needed to admit to doing it, or they needed to catch the person doing it in the act. So it's really challenging to move forward in those kind of situations. So it was a very challenging process to sit with the fact that I had to sit with this trauma and this abuse while he was just out there running the streets, doing whatever he needed to do. It really impacted me in the sense that I got fired from my job. I missed too much time at work, and I couldn't even function. Like I couldn't live a day-to-day normal routine. But through this process of me opening up and being vulnerable and using my voice, it's really scary. It's vulnerable, very exposed, but it's shown me how strong I am, and that the more people that can use their voice and express this, the better off we're all going to be. Because in our society, rape is normal. Rape is accepted. And the reason that is because we don't talk about it. People don't come forward with it. So for me, that's been the most powerful part. And I've just learned and seen how strong I am. And it's safe to speak my truth. And
Tell us about the letter.
oh, that's right. After I did the detective thing and all of that, it was probably about 2 weeks after I hadn't heard anything from the DA, and I was just waiting, and I got to this point where I felt like I needed to voice my opinion to the guy who had raped me. So I wrote him a very detailed letter on anything and everything that I needed to get off my chest, how it affected me, how my life has been in the past couple months of living after that happened. And it was very powerful to send that and to know that he heard everything that I experienced. And I could feel that he really heard it. And that's the thing, even if people don't get arrested or if they don't get, jail time or punished, you can't do things like that and not be punished. Karma is it'll play out. So if you don't change, I already did everything that I needed to do to heal from this, and I'm continuing to heal from it. So I just leave the rest to trust and faith, and I did what I needed to do.
Yeah, Yeah, I think that's the biggest part in moving forward and creating your healing, is that you took the steps, and there are some things that were out of your control. Like you tried to talk with him on the phone and get him to
Right.
admit it so that you could move the case forward. Like you did there's a lot of things she did that she hasn't shared, but you did a lot of things to really try to make this right, and to
Yeah. I've already forgot about all of
yeah,
that.
so she's already let it go. And when she says she empowered herself, this is part of the empowerment, is letting go of the things that she couldn't control, letting go of the things that you couldn't change.
Yeah, there's no energy around it anymore. There's certain pieces that hold energy, but like dealing with it in the moment and voicing it in the moment, it's been really rough. But the healing process is like in the moment, and you can just release it, and it transmutes, and you don't have to carry that and add more trauma, and you can just let it go. And the more of us that come forward with this, the better off we're going to be, and we're going to have community and tribe.
Just thinking as you are sharing that in the past 4 months, in between what happened with you and now, that this whole Hollywood scandal has come to light. And Harvey Weinstein and all the other perpetrators.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
Very interesting.
I do feel like there is a collective energy of this kind of stuff coming to light.
It is totally collective. Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I just thought of that, huh?
Wow. I like that little hat.
That makes the petals fall
so
when we
fun.
shake our hands.
I've never used one of these things. It's like a little kid.
Yeah, totally. Have fun with our inner child as we heal.
Absolutely.
That's all
Part
part
of
of the
healing.
healing.
Yep.
Yes.
Inner child.
Awesome.
So awesome.
Well, I appreciate I appreciate the way you've handled this entire situation, because you have continued to step up and confront and face the things that were within you. And that's really, sometimes, when the external things don't pan out, like if you're not able to take the case to court or whatever, all you can do is your inner work.
Yeah.
And do and face what you need to face within yourself. Can you speak to that a little bit, specifically in terms of other women who have gone through this experience and what they can do for themselves after this experience?
For the inner work, I've really had to show up for myself and to work on self-love. It's something that I continue to do, and I always think that I'm at that, next level, and then it's self-love is one of those, like,
Always more.
constantly more, and so I really had to take that up a notch and just focus on what I need. And I've put relationships on timeout. I've really shown up for myself recently, and just whatever it is that I need, I'm giving it to myself. I'm listening to my body, and I'm listening to my intuition, because that is key, is listening to your intuition and trusting whatever it is that in your heart is truth, and following that. And if you need support, ask for support. It's about whatever it is you need, asking for it. And to release the shame. There's no shame. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay.
Asking for support is sometimes tricky, because when you're in that traumatized state, you're not necessarily in a clear state of being that you would know whom to ask for support. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, can I trust this person? Can I trust that person?
Yeah.
I don't know, because my cells are traumatized. My whole being's traumatized. I don't know who I can trust. Like, how can a woman or a man, how can someone know when they're in that traumatized state? How can they know whom to ask for support from? Like, how, you know what I mean? And maybe you don't have the answer, and that's fine, but I wanted to see if you had any.
Well, I am a support, so that's
awesome.
one.
There we go.
I was trying to think of how I navigated all of that.
I think you were still very in touch with your intuition and your guidance through all of this, so I think it maybe made it
Yeah, I'm trying to
easier for you to know who to ask.
Yeah.
But I know some people after this experience aren't in a clear state where, like, somehow you were able to maintain
I don't know
clarity.
how I did that. Yeah.
Well, because Grace was with you, because you stepped up, you said, okay, I'm ready to face all of this.
Yeah.
That's why you were able to do that.
And
So
my
maybe
family
that's-
and friends have been very supportive too.
Yeah.
So I'm lucky to have that.
That's
But I know
beautiful.
that a lot of us don't have that.
Maybe that's what it is. If after this happens, the person says, I'm ready to confront whatever this is for me, whatever healing I need to do.
Yeah.
And maybe that's when the clarity and the grace comes in.
Yeah. And you're just guided. When you take that first step, it's kind of like you can see the map and you can see the path and you just follow it. And it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I admire your courage for doing this with me again.
Round 2.
Well,
But if this helps, like if I help one person today, it's worth it.
I just feel like this is a very powerful topic,
Yeah.
and it applies to all of the other inner work stuff. It applies to all the other healing stuff. But I know people specifically are struggling with this particular issue of rape and how it impacts them, how it impacts their families, it impacted your job.
Yeah, every area of your life is impacted.
Yeah. And you mentioned something about being suicidal. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah, when we were talking earlier, yeah, like a month ago, I just hit this point where I felt like I was just bringing everybody down and like almost like I was a burden just being here.
Because you needed to talk about it, or because you
it was more like I lost my job and it felt like I was losing everything and just losing myself. And I just hit that point where I'm like, I don't know what to do anymore. Yeah. But I think even just voicing that and like talking to my family about it, like that was enough. It took a couple weeks of sitting in that state of like, I'm a fucking mess and I can't do this anymore. But like sitting in that state and talking about it and voicing the fact that, yeah, I don't want to be here anymore. I'm over there. I don't want to be here. Like, so sitting in that space and being open and honest about it got me to the space that I'm at now. And now I'm, you know, I got a job and I'm like getting clients and things are lining up, and it hasn't been easy, but like I can see that this process is going to bring me to everything that I want and everything that I could ever dream of. It's right around the corner, and I know that.
That's powerful.
So
I think thank you for sharing that part.
Yeah.
I know that wasn't the easiest thing to share, but I did kind of want to go there because
yeah, no, it's important. It's huge right now, and
I know that other people can relate to that part
absolutely.
of it. Like, no, it wasn't all clarity and grace. You know, there were like that gut-wrenching, like, I'm done on this planet kind of stuff that happened too. I think it's important to...
And that was a big piece of it. It was...
Yeah,
I mean, fun.
In the healing process, sometimes, often, you get to that point where it's like, I'm done here. I'm done being on this planet.
What's the point in this?
I'm over it. I'm sick of it. You know.
Yeah.
Like, and I think it's really healthy to let yourself get to that point.
Yeah.
As long as you have the support system around you.
Right.
Because if you let yourself get to that point and you don't have any support, then you might decide to leave the planet.
And use your voice. When you're at that point, use your voice.
Say more about that. Like with toning or speaking certain things, or
just anything that comes when you're in a suicidal mind state, anything that comes up that's causing that feeling of not knowing if you can do this anymore. Just give it a voice.
Okay. Nice.
Let it speak.
Nice.
It needs to be heard.
Yeah.
Because you can get through it.
Yeah.
And your life is waiting for you. Just keep taking the steps and keep exposing the truth.
Awesome.
The truth shall... Ugh. The truth shall set you free.
There you go. So did you do any journaling or... Okay.
Yeah, I did a lot of journaling. I did the self-love challenge where I would make a video of myself talking to myself, basically, and you just, like, get messages out that way. So I did that.
Ooh, I like that.
It's interesting, the things that you tell yourself. You're like, whoa, okay, needed to hear that. I should try it. It's good.
Yeah, so I've never heard of this. Say a little bit more about it.
So you just literally do it like a selfie type video, and you just let yourself talk, and after like a minute or so, you just kind of start channeling, and whatever it is that you need to hear, it comes out. So it's like your subconscious talking to your conscious, basically.
Nice. Awesome.
So you get the messages that you need because you're the only one that has your answers. You have all the answers inside of you. So to take that pause and to stop and listen to yourself and to hear what you need to hear, it's really powerful.
Beautiful. Wow. Sarah, is there anything else you want to say to women, men, anyone who has gone through the experience of being raped? Anything that you want to say?
Just to be gentle with yourself and take away the shame. There's no shame. This is a really hard piece of the journey, and I know a lot of us have experienced this, men and women, and it's time to shift the way we see it and feel about it, and the more of us that can put a voice on it is, the better. We can actually shift this, and it doesn't have to be the reality anymore.
Yeah. I'm going to offer a really intense invitation. I know there are those of you who have had this experience and have not shared it with anyone, and I'm going to invite you to share it with someone. Like Sarah said, to put a voice to it, to find someone with whom you can share it. And really, that's going to jumpstart your healing process, and it's going to help the collective because, like I said, there is that collective karma thing that's happening right now where the stuff is coming to the light, and it's time that it comes into the light so that it's seen, so that we can heal it, so that we can move forward as a society, as a culture. And we can begin respecting each other and loving each other and honoring each other instead of, raping each other. I mean, it's really it's time for this to change. So
I'm ready.
So if you've had this experience and you've never talked about it, or even if you've shared it and you're still struggling, you're still not healed, find someone that you can trust and share it. Thank you all for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah,
Thank you for hearing me.
stepping up again. In the spotlight. I really appreciate you. I really
no
appreciate
problem.
it.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
All right. Later, guys.
Bye.